Thank you. I'm so impressed how many production designers are not freaked out when they come up here to talk. It's freaking me out. I wouldn't have come here, but when Ida asked me, I dispelled the things that make me the most nervous and wanted to be here. You know, I'm really honored to present Ida her Lifetime Achievement Award, celebrating her entire body of work. From her first job as a set designer on Frisco Kid, and I think it was 1979, to her Oscar-nominated design on Rain Man, Ida has produced really an astonishing career. Starting out in Hollywood Reporter's art department, Ida training as a painter was put to good use, taking small art department jobs around the industry. And she rose quickly through the ranks of directors, landing her first job as a production designer from none other than Lawrence Kasdan on films like The Big Chill and Silverado, which of course is where I come in. Which of course isn't exactly correct. So to set the record straight, I was an extra on the set of Francis in 1981. And for 6 years, I'd been trying to break into Hollywood despite all my best efforts, I was just unable to get a SAG card. In a made-up scene between Frances Farmer, played by Jessica Lange, it was going to shoot in a couple of days. Jessica would be exiting a theater after her performance that night in a play called Golden Boy, and a young William Holden, who also appeared in the same play, would be signing autographs in the alley where he would say a single line, "Good night, Frances," as she made her way out. I was singled out by the extras casting director, Elizabeth Lustig, who would later go on to become my casting director for Dances with Wolves. She walked me up to Ida, who I couldn't help but notice on the set, having been there for 3 days. She was really Annie Hall before there was an Annie Hall, if you know what I mean. She always seemed to be around the camera. And without notice, she'd move into the set as if no one was watching and pick up a book and move it. In fact, she would pick anything up. Lamps, ashtrays, adjust pictures, fluff a pillow. I'd never been on a set, so anything that seemed to be bothering her, she would just move in and sometimes move it. Maybe inches. I kept waiting for someone to call her back and stop her. I was genuinely nervous for this woman. And now suddenly I find myself standing in front of her, and she's looking at me. It's safe to say that I had gone from thinking she might be in trouble to now wondering if I was. She looked at me in a very real way, and I don't know how else to describe it. I had no idea what I had done or what she was looking for. But what I did know as I stood there, and what she couldn't have possibly known as I waited for her to speak, was how shamefully desperate I was to be seen as an actor. And after a long moment an Ida random moment. You'd have to see one to know what I'm talking about. She turned to Elizabeth and said, "This works." 2 nights later, I would be in that alley mumbling a single line, "Good night, Frances." And it would change the trajectory of my career. I'll never forget you, Ida. You changed my life that night. That's what Ida does. She changes lives. She makes things better, sometimes by inches. And if you didn't know better and you just walked onto a set where Ida was working, your first thought might be that she was the leading lady, the star of the movie who just decided to come in on her day off and start moving furniture. Such is her outward beauty. But it's her essence as an artist and as a collaborator that sets her apart without trying. She's the director's best friend and confidant. She's the actor's biggest cheerleader as she walks them through her perfect sets. She was the first one to dailies when people still went to watch them together. You're so much more than this honor your colleagues bestow upon you now. You're a filmmaker, Ida, in every sense of the word, adding your most personal touch to the movies you call your paintings. You're more than deserving of this award tonight, and I hope that you can feel the love in this room and the respect for the person you are and the light you bring wherever you step. You've walked that delicate line between artist and architect while always keeping the movie first, and I'm so proud to have walked amongst the sets painted with your brush. Now I'm honored to give you the Art Director Guild's Lifetime Achievement Award. So we're going to see a little movie, I think.